Hello there, everybody. It's your boy, it's Bobby. I'm back with another video. How's everything been going? Know it's been a while, but I'm gonna give you guys another video. And this time it's going to be about Sting's greatest feuds. And if you're like me, Sting was my one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. Um, I'll never forget when he beat Ric Flair for the world title at the Great American Bash. Same year I was born, actually, 1990. Um, One of the matches that launched him into main event status, one of the matches that pretty much launched his career. Um, I'll never forget it. I mean, Sting versus Great Muta from WCW New Japan Pro Wrestling Super Show 1991. They wrestled in Japan. So many great feuds in the career of the man they call Sting. So many great, you know, challenges in his career that he's faced. And so that's what I'm going to be speaking about here today. And, I'm going to try to get through this the best way I can. And with that being said, let's get her started. Sting's greatest feuds. Steve Borden's career spanned over decades, and on one fateful night, it all came to an end. Sting has wrestled for multiple promotions in his day: NWA, WCW, TNA, WWE, yes, WWE, and AEW, just to give you a few. I have had the honor and privilege of watching Sting on TV, and I consider him a GOAT. Today, I will be talking about Sting's greatest feuds. So let's do it. First on our list, the late, great, ravishing one, Rick Rude. The ravishing one had a way of creating great feuds with just about anyone. It's no it's no shock he and Sting had an amazing one when they faced off in WCW thanks to an attack by Lex Luger. Sting lost the US title to Rude in late 1991. They had several rematches with some great fighting between them. They continued it for several years, but it had a bittersweet end as it was in a match with Sting that Rick Rude suffered his career-ending back injury. Back injury. However, Rick Rude never blamed Sting for it and had always counted him as one of his best opponents. When the two clash, it was always a fantastic event. So the ravishing one, Rick Rude and Sting had one of the most underrated rivalries in the 1990s. But most notably, the match he had with Rude that obviously, as many of you know, ended Rick Rude's career and he could never ever wrestle again. And so, it it did have a bittersweet. They wrestled in New Japan, by the way. In Japan, by the way. So, they underrated feud, underrated feud, and they killed it when they got into the ring, and both brought out the best of one another. So, yeah, Rick Rude. Next on our list, the Great Muta. In 1989, the Great Muta was unlike anyone United States wrestling fans had seen. He was pulling of stunning moves, of high flying and technical work, and his face paint won folks over too. Sting and Great Muta were set in a top notch feud, trading the TV title and each holding the other well. Muta brought out some of the best in Sting in his work and helped push the Stinger more as a star. The feud with the feud didn't last too long as Muta would leave the NWA right before Sting won the NWA title. But when they were in the ring, the two were amazing. This feud was great, and it was great for a multitude of reasons. Um, they fought a lot too. They fought obviously at the New Japan WCW Super Show, which took place in Japan in 1991. They fought on Power Hour in 1989. They also fought at Starrcade 1989, along at Halloween Havoc. I mean, you name it, they fought. And then they reunited in AEW, but they were the two had just banger matches and they killed it on several different occasions. And so, the Great Muta is regarded as one of the greatest wrestlers there is to this day. And that's why, he's obviously on this list. Moving on, Mick Foley, aka Dude Love, Mankind, and yes, Jack Foley and Cactus Jack, just to give you some of his other personas. In 1991, Mick Foley was still Raw in wrestling when he joined WCW as Cactus Jack. He and Sting were soon having some fantastic knockdown brawls, which included an epic Clash of Champions match that helped put Foley on the map. Cactus also led guys like Abdullah the Butcher to attack Sting. In 2009, they revived their feud in TNA with more battles, including a lockdown cage match that many cited as surprisingly great given their ages. They get along in real life, but in the ring, these two had a great feud going. So, Sting and Cactus Jack. Um, these two, if you want two guys who could fight, if you want two guys that could just get down, then yeah, this feud is for you. I mean, they fought in 1991. They fought in, you know, TNA. I'll never forget that lockdown cage match that they had. They also fought at Beach Blast in 1992. They also fought, obviously, you know, all over the place. I mean, you name it, they did it. I mean, and they're real friends in real life. They're real friends in real life, and they get along quite well, like you just heard me say. And so, I mean, they're up there. Another great feud in Sting's career. Moving on, Jeff Jarrett, Double J. In 1999, WCW was having some serious issues and Jeff Jarrett was given a huge push with multiple runs as world champion. He and Sting had a few clashes, but it was rather low then. When TNA began, Sting had a brief appearance teaming up with Jarrett in 2003. Much bigger was when Sting joined the company full on in 2006. He and Jarrett were soon clashing constantly, including for the NWA and later TNA world titles. They had some partnership with the main event Mafia, but even as late as 2010, the two were going at it in the ring to highlight one of TNA's more notable feuds of all time. I'll never forget the matches they had in TNA. I mean, think about it. Lockdown 2006, or no, Bound for Glory 2006, Hard Justice 2010. I mean, in WCW, they fought numerous times for the world title. I'll never forget the moment where Jeff Jarrett was dressed up as the Sting and Sting came out and confronted him. I mean, these two, again, they they brought out they brought out the best in one another. And Jarrett, Jarrett, he wasn't going to take a back seat. Let me know what you think. What are some of your greatest Sting feuds in his career? Um, but yeah, Jeff Jarrett and Sting, they made each other, and they deserve to be on this list. Kurt Angle, this is another good one. When Kurt Angle joined TNA in 2006, they had to put him in the long dreamed of feud with Samoa Joe. Once that was handled, Angle and Sting soon began matching up more in feuding. They did hold the tag titles together in 2007, but then Angle turned heel on Sting. This set up their epic Bound for Glory match where Sting beat Angle for the TNA title in one of his best bouts in years. They revived it in 2009 and in 2011 for control of the main event Mafia as the Stinger as the Stinger and the Olympian clicked great in the ring. Yeah. Um Sting and Kurt, they're one of TNA's greatest feuds. And the reason I say that is because both had a common goal was to be the best. One wanted to be number one, the other wanted to be number one. And Sting and Kurt, they just gelled. They just gelled with each other. And when they first met, when they first held the tag titles in 2007 in TNA, I just knew right away they were going to be something special. And you had the Olympian taking off both great technical wrestlers, and one Sting would come out on top. This is a name everybody loves. Hulk Hogan. In 1996, Sting felt let down when fans believed an NWO imposter was him. This led to him transforming into his crow look and soon stalking Hulk Hogan. Even when they didn't match up in the ring, Hogan and Sting had a huge rivalry going that led to major ratings wins for WCW. It culminated at Starrcade 1997 when Sting beat Hogan for the belt. Although it was hampered by the bad match, they had numerous rematches over the years, with the two matching up well. They they continued it in TNA as Sting and Hogan just made natural rivals. So obviously, when you think of Sting and Hulk Hogan, you have to think of Starrcade 1997. I mean, the match was bad. I mean, everything about it was bad, but Sting ended up winning the belt that night. I mean, it was all hampered by, a fast count. And, Sting has spoken about this. He said, if everything had gone to plan that night, then that match would have been great. I mean, he spoke about it at Starcast. You can go and look at it yourself. But you know, he spoke about it and he's right. If everything went according to plan, and not with a fast count, then Sting would probably then that match would probably be one of his best. I still think it is, but it should be a lot higher. And then obviously they met again in TNA. I want to say it was 2011, 2012-ish or something like that. But yeah, they have met in TNA one time. Next on our list, Big Van Vader. Vader broke out huge in the United States thanks to his massive size, but able to take off the ropes with ease. He was set against Sting at the 1992 Great American Bash, and to the shock of the crowd, Vader crushed Sting cleanly to win the title. They would have terrific matches in '93, from tag bouts to a strap match, and would continue to feud in 1994 as well. The two gelled well in the ring with their fine chemistry, and Sting selling for the brutal Vader. It ended when Vader left WCW in 1995, but for a time, he and Sting were a rivalry. So obviously, my favorite match has to be, you know, Sting versus Vader. I want to say it was at Bash at the Beach. They met one year. I could be wrong, but if so, let me know in the comments below. Um, but these two met, and Vader's size was a problem, but his speed was even frightening. You know what I mean? Like, the Vader bomb, the Vader moonsault. I mean, Vader could really move around in the ring. And, you know, his power kind of was a substitute for his size. And I mean, just the way he was so agile. He reminded me a lot of Yokozuna in a way. And he just he was just the total package. Former world heavyweight champion. I mean, you name it, you got it. I mean, Sting and Vader, they just gelled. And finally, the one, the only, the nature boy, Ric Flair. This is an obvious pick, but it's still the best. At the very first Clash of Champions, Sting and Ric Flair faced off in a 45-minute draw that instantly made Sting a main event star. They feuded once more in 1990 as Sting won the NWA World title from Flair. This led to the convoluted storyline of the Black Scorpion and Flair regaining the title. Over the years, the two would clash numerous times and swapping belts back and forth. Fittingly, The final match of the last Nitro was Flair and Sting going at it. One of the last time as their rivalry helped forge WCW. So the Nature Boy Ric Flair and Sting, they fought numerous times. Obviously, Bash at the no Great American Bash 1990 for the title. They obviously fought, in 99 for control of WCW. They fought in TNA a couple times. I mean, you name it, they fought. And their rivalry is probably, if not the greatest rival that Sting has ever had in his career. I mean, yeah, there are others, but there's no one like the Nature Boy Ric Flair. When you fight Ric Flair, you know that you're going to the top and you know that you're going to be the GOAT. Where you go. So there's that. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative. If you like what you hear, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, God bless.